Elisha, congratulations on the Cellar. It premiered at South by Southwest. How did it feel being back at a festival and screening this for an audience?
Yeah, it was sort of surreal. It's been so long since I've been to the movie theaters. I feel really lucky that we were able to, submit and we got in to South by Southwest because it's a really great festival and so much fun. And actually the Cellar I felt was like the perfect place for that midnight showing, which is so fun. Yeah, so I was really excited to be there and really proud of the movie. I mean, we shot this in Ireland during the height of the pandemic, and it was not easy to make, and it was at a time when no one was getting vaccinated yet. There was no such thing as a vaccine for COVID yet, so we really were under the gun to make this film without a hitch and hopefully without anyone getting sick. Otherwise, we would have shut down. So yeah, really really proud of us as a group, and it was really nice to celebrate with them in that way at a festival in front of people and who
Yeah.
we made the movie for.
You say that it was really exciting to show this at midnight. I'm sorry, no offense, but that is my biggest nightmare, my biggest fear, like seeing a horror film at midnight when I feel like everything is coming out. Do you get freaked out when you watch it back, or are you so far removed because you're thinking, oh, on that day, I actually felt like this and this happened?
Yeah.
Or can you watch?
You know what? I can watch it artistically, but yes, I do feel sort of that feeling of, oh, I remember when we were doing that. Oh, interesting that the director chose that take. I know a lot of I know a lot of behind the scenes stuff that sort of removes me from it. But I will say, when Brandon, our director, sent us or sent me a copy of the film before South by Southwest, so I could see the movie before we screened it. Um, I had turned it on during midday because I thought I don't want to see this at night because I don't want to be scared. And then like the beginning credits started to roll, and the movie hadn't even started yet, and the sound that was coming off of like the opening credits scared the bejesus out of me. And I thought my 4-year-old daughter is here. I'm like, I had to shut it down. I was like, there's no way I can play this movie right now. I have to wait till my kids go to bed. This is actually terrifying. So then, yeah, I had to wait until the evening to watch it, but yeah, it was scary off the hop. I was worried.
So hold on, you're scared watching it back, right? How do you
Yeah,
everyone knows I'm a wuss when it comes to horrors. I cannot get through them. How
yeah.
do you actually make them, Alicia? Like, how do you not have PTSD afterwards?
Well, I think making them is a different experience. We have a whole crew behind us, and these moments aren't really. We're creating these moments. We're not living these moments. So, it's interesting. I always find that horror film or the genre itself is really fun and actually kind of amazing because you have to go full bore and let yourself go there because if you don't, it just won't come across believable. So to kind of just let it all be there and give it your all to sort of like let out a scream or just there's something very freeing about that. So there's something very exhilarating about filming them, I will say. There's an energy to it, but not a fear. So you could come visit me on my next horror film and you won't be scared. Don't you worry. You'll be fine.
Okay, maybe that's how I need to get over it because,
Yeah,
like,
maybe you need to come see it for yourself. Yeah.
see it being made, and then you go, actually, I get it now. But like, this was filmed in the west of Ireland, and is it true that you guys spent a few nights in the house that you were filming in?
Well, we didn't spend a night in the house, but we spent all of quarantine, which was 2 weeks, plus the duration of filming on the property of the where the house was. So we all had our own separate cottages just below the big house that you see in the film. So we were right sort of in the underbelly of that, which is really was kind of crazy. And it was in sort of the dead of winter as well. So it was
Oh my
cold and
god!
yeah, it was really sort of it really did set the mood and the tone for the film, which was really interesting.
See, you call it kind of crazy. I call it kind of creepy. I would be there going, "Oh my god, this I know what we're doing is make believe, but I heard a noise." Like, were you ever spooked or freaked out during your time there?
For some reason, I thought I was gonna be a lot more scared than I was because I was by myself in seclusion. But to be honest with you, away from, two kids and the craziness of the world, I was actually I was sleeping in and relaxing. I was very comfortable. I was like, Mama was getting her rest. Let's just put it that way. But no, there was one incident where just before we started filming, Brendan, myself, and Owen Macken, who plays my husband in the film, we all had our own separate cottages. We had a infestation of dead flies that had plagued all of our cottages right before we started filming. So that was pretty eerie and
What
pretty
did you
scary.
do? I would have been asked to move. I would have gone, "Can I please move?"
Well, there was actually nowhere else to go because we were already in this bubble, but we did have someone come in to, like, he claims it was because the cottages hadn't been used in many years, and that the heat, turning on the heat and using the fireplaces, had kind of brought out these this fly infestation. I'm like, I think it is goblins and ghosts. Thank you.
Yes, and but look, that didn't put you off because I was scrolling through your Instagram, and when you were filming here, you put up a post at the end and you said, "Getting to discover Ireland has been an absolute gift."
Mhm.
What did you get to do while you were here? Because there was like the lockdowns and the pandemic, as you said.
Unfortunately, I mean, I didn't get to do all the things that I wanted to because of that. I mean, to film an entire film and not be able to go into an Irish pub which is a crime. But, that being said, I did venture out in the car and travel a little bit. I have family um that are from just outside of Limerick, and my grandmother was born and raised in Ireland.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
yeah, so I have Irish connections in that way. And so I was really like, when I said it was a gift, it was because I got to film in Ireland and make a movie where my grandmother, grew up, and it just felt like I just didn't think I'd ever have a chance to do that. And it was so special to me to get to see sort of where she grew up and how she grew up. And yeah, it was just really special. And I, for some reason, when I guess when you have family ties to a place, they always say, "Oh, you feel an instant connection."
Yeah.
But I really did. I really felt so, even in the dead of winter, in the middle of the country, in the middle of nowhere, in this little cottage. I was really at home, and I felt really good. And I mean, I'd go back in a heartbeat and film again and again and again. It just was absolutely a delight.
This isn't your first horror. One of your memorable ones is House of Wax back in 2005. That's where you and Paris Hilton met. What
Yes.
was that experience like? And I saw she was recently at South by Southwest as well, DJing. Did you guys get
Yes.
to catch up there? Because I know you're very friendly.
Well, you know what? It's funny. I ended up getting the Cellar gang into the event for Paris, but I wasn't there because I have a newborn. I had to fly out of South by Southwest right after the premiere. So
Oh
unfortunately,
no!
and I'm not really. I mean, I'm more breastfeeding right now, not really raging in that way. So yeah, I'm in sort of in a different mental state. But yeah, I was happy to get them in there. And Paris and I had such a great time when we did House of Wax. I mean, we're going back 15 years, but we've stayed friends, and she's just an absolute delight. I can't say enough about her. And I know it's, she's one of those iconic sort of people that are out there that a lot of people are sort of misunderstood or maybe don't know much about. And but just knowing her, she's special. She's a really special person, and I adore her. So
Well, congratulations on the new kid. I know that, breastfeeding is a
oh,
nightmare, and it's lovely. It's so special, isn't it? But it's such
sure.
yeah, a chore is the right word. But
Yeah.
you, in fact, were a baby when you started this, not necessarily as young as your newborn, but you did come to
Right.
the industry quite young.
Yeah.
What was it like growing up in Hollywood?
Yeah, I mean, I started acting when I was 11, and that was up in Canada where I'm from. And from 11 to 18, I spent a lot of like my career sort of in Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal, and keeping everything really like sort of low key. And obviously having aspirations to want to go to Hollywood, obviously. And then so as soon as I was able to sort of take off, I did. And the experience was amazing. I was following my dreams and doing what I love to do. So it was always such a great ride. It still is a great ride. yeah, I can't say enough about it. I really do. I love what I do, so I'm very blessed to be able to do it.
And I don't know how you're juggling it all, your
I don't
family,
I don't either.
all these films. You've got a film coming out with Josh Duhamel. What can you tell me about that?
Yeah, it's a bank heist film called Bandit.
How
Um,
fab!
yeah, and he's fab, so it's great. I mean, he's amazing. So, yeah, and this film Bandit is actually really cool because it's a Canadian story. It's about an American guy who flees to Canada and assumes a new identity and ends up becoming one of the most notorious bank robbers in Canadian history. It's based on a true story. So I play his wife in the film, who you don't quite know whether she understands or knows what's going on, and follow the journey of that and them as a couple. It's really a fun movie. So I'm excited for that to come out as well. I'm not sure the actual release date yet, but that stay tuned because that should be a good one.
Well, I can't wait for that. But in the meantime, anyone who's looking for a horror, The
Yeah.
Cellar, go check that out. You will never look at counting in the same way as again. Like, do you
Yeah.
have, when you hear someone count, does that bring you back somewhere?
Yeah, it's like we keep saying math is the devil's work. When after you watch this film, you're like, wow, this is really interesting and quantum physics and sort of realms. And if you're into all that stuff, this is definitely the movie for you. It's fun.
Well, Alicia, thank you so much for taking time out. And again, congrats on the new baby.
Thank you.